Be all over YouTube right now. Oh man. Well, you saw the video, right?
Like they're a fighter and they're like, oh, come fight me. I'm like, bro, why? I'm not. So you just want me to break it down? I'm not a fighter, bro. And if you do whoop my ass, you better fucking run, you know? Like, don't whoop my ass is what I tell them.
Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with a snack habit. Bye. Bye. I don't know what to say about Wes. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So Wes Watson is shaking, right? He's all shook up. That alpha male, that infamous shot calling, that gangster that beat every celly up he ever had, that woke the whole dorm up with his aura, that punked people and told them that they couldn't go to the chow hall unless he was the first one out the door of the gym living, right, is refusing to come out of his cell. According to a video that was dropped by JD Delay. If you're not tapped in with JD Delay, shout out JD Delay. Make sure that you guys go tap in, subscribe. He has some of the dopest content I've ever seen on YouTube, man. I've actually had conversations with JD Delay. He's a real righteous dude. Done time in prison, knows what time it is a recovering addict, a recovery coach, really literally does everything and lives the life, the real life that Wes Watson says that he lives. Like I said, man, this man helps people recover and helps people get their life on track and is definitely an inspiration for all. So JD Delay puts out a short, and in doing so, he says that he is in communication or was in communication with somebody who was actually doing time in Broward County Jail in Florida, the exact location where Wes Watson is being housed right now in the main facility. So we know right now from the timeline that Wes Watson is locked up facing 6 charges. Initially, it was 5 felony charges, and then they added another charge. The charge being, I looked it up last night. I was a little curious about what I'm going to talk about and wanted to get my facts straight. And the last charge that they charged him with, which they put on after the fact, is definitely a violation, having him on a hold. You know, and that is the reason why his bail was revoked, because he has the pending charges for the assault in the other county. Now, that's pending trial. He's already revoked bail on that one, so he'll be sitting down for the duration. But where exactly is he sitting down? According to JD Delay and his communications with another inmate who's housed in the same facility, he's right in his cell and refuses to come out of his cell. What happened to the alpha male gangster that beat up the 7-foot black man at the gym, that put hands and feet and all kinds of bite marks all over his old lady over a brand new pair of tits? Where's he at? Hey, attention on the compound, calling all. Have you seen Wes Watson? Well, of course not, because according to JD Delay's information, Wes Watson is refusing to come out of his cell. Doesn't want to come out for chow, doesn't want to come out for day room, ain't showered since he got locked up. Probably refuses to brush his fucking teeth. And that can only lead me to believe 2 things. One, either he's that distraught, that emotional over his incarceration, that sick, which I understand, I've been there, right? That he doesn't even want to get up out the bed, up off the mattress. I bet you ain't doing no push-ups. He ain't waking up at 2:45 a.m. with his aura, waking his celly up. None of that. He's sick to his stomach because he knows that he has a long stay in the Hotel Florida, right? Welcome to the Hotel Big Florida, right? He's there. Such an ugly place. See the tats on his face, right? He's in trouble. The other thing could be he's scared. You know, he doesn't want that smoke. He knows things that he's done and said in the past are going to have a direct impact on his future as far as his safety and security. And he's not a safe fellow. So instead of going out mixing and mingling and fraternizing with other convicts, you know, it's easy to get convict all over your license plate on your Lamborghini and your Maybach, but it definitely ain't easy to be a convict once you've been a convict, right? And let me explain that to you. A while back, I did some time. It was a few years ago now. And up until that point, I haven't done time in a long time, right? Since I think 2013 was my last bid. And so it's not that I forgot how to do time. It's like riding a bicycle. You never forget. Once you get up in that motherfucker, it's full go, right? It's all gas, no brake. You have to be. You have to live a different lifestyle behind them walls. You become a different person. You become a harder and colder person. Not everybody. You try to take that street mentality into prison or to county jail, and you're going to quickly find out that shit doesn't cut it. You have to become a hard man, a cold man, a shrewd man, an intelligent man. And every move you make is going to count, right? It's going to have direct impact on what happens to you and where you're placed. So you need to go either grow some balls or go stone cold on them. And I remember, I just had to do a few days. I'd caught an assault charge, man. I had fought it for a couple of years. And here was put up or shut up time. I was being sentenced. I got 5 days in the county. And I know to everyone, they're laughing right now. 5 fucking days in the county. Let me tell you something right now. Those 5 days in the county were worse than any time I've done in the whole total maximum of 19 years that I've done in and out of jails, prisons, and youth authorities. I'm going to tell you guys right now, them 5 days broke a motherfucker. Made me say to myself, I ain't never coming back. This shit is not for funds. This is for keeps, and I'm cool. You can keep my ass up out of there. And I figured out the only way to do that was to stop doing crime and to stop acting stupid and use my delayed gratification skills to obtain the things I want in life, rather than jumping the gun and letting my anger management go from 0 to 100. And those were the worst 5 days possible. But I still came out of my cell. I still made sure that my presence was felt, because I come from an era and a generation and a group that it was mandatory all movements, right? That's just how I was raised. I was state raised. I was brought up mandatory movement. And even now in my older age and my indifference to gangs, meaning I don't want to do it. I'm different, right? And I'm not trying to be in. I still understand that in jail, you are being judged. You're being watched. You're being looked at. And everybody, it's a dog eat dog place, right? And any type of flaw, any type of hesitation, any type of cowardice will be construed as cowardice, right? And they will take advantage of you, try to punk you, and it's just going to get you in a bigger wreck. Now, Wes Watson, if you look at his paint job, if you look at him from a distance, doesn't look like the coward type, right? As much as he boasted and bragged on how he beat every celly up he ever got, how he was the shot caller and held the keys to every level 4 yard in the California prison system, you would think that little old Florida County Jail, Broward County Jail, wouldn't break him. But I'm here to tell you right now, according to JD DeLay's information, it definitely has broke him. He is not trying to come out that cell. Maybe he thinks he's above and bigger and better than everyone there, and he doesn't want to fraternize and join the reindeer games. But eventually, guess what? You're going to have to come out of your cell just like I did. Everybody has to come out, whether it's for an attorney visit, for visitation, to go see your lawyer, like I said. Eventually, you're going to get hungry, right? You got to come out of your cell. You got to make your presence felt. Now, if people know you've been in that county jail for over a week and a half and you haven't stepped foot out that cell, and you're pretty well known on the internet, they're going to start questioning why you're not coming out the cell. Are you Malias? Are you kicking? Are you sick? Now, that could be a fact that no one's touching on. It could be that he's not a coward and he's not scared, which I highly doubt, right? It could be that he's kicking. We all know that little by little, you could tell that Wes Watson has lost about 60 pounds in the last several months. He went from being a big old brother to being a what happened brother, right? And so a lot of people were thinking that he was preparing himself and winging himself off the cycles, winging himself off the drugs, or utilizing other narcotics to help him in his endeavors of forgetting the time that he's facing on the first assault charge. Now, with this compiled on top of that, he got charges, giving charges piggyback rides. He's playing Marco Polo in pools with charges, right? Marco Polo, and guess what? Polo finds Marco every time when it comes to Wes Watson. He's in trouble. We all know he's in trouble. We're not going to debate that. There's going to be people, oh, he got money, he's going to get right out. Well, we'll see. According to the paperwork that I read last night, the charges, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's being held. He's being held. He's being held. All right. And oh, what a difference a day makes from being rich and eating lobster and shrimps and steaks and being out there on the streets to being locked up in a cell eating mush, goulash, and cat food. It sucks. I know how jail is. Jail's worse than anything of all time, man. Worse than prison, worse than all that. And that's where he resides, in his cell. Now, he could be kicking. He could be kicking, the drugs and the cycles that he was taking. And so maybe he's not in a position to come out of his cell. Maybe his stomach hurts. A man down, man down. So you just never know. But I tend to believe that Wes Watson just doesn't want to go out there and face reality. But reality is eventually he's going to have to come out of his cell. Not very many people refuse to come out the cell. It's a very, very rare thing while you're incarcerated. Even weirdos come out their cell. To see a man request to be single-celled due to being scared or trying to be away from a certain group because they know that they got an issue coming or some medicine, they're going to get checked. To see a person request from, the associate warden, the superintendent, the captain, the DRB, the whatever, whoever you write, to see a person do that is probably one of the most scariest cowardice moves that ever happens to a man while incarcerated. That means you're petrified. You're very scared to be around anyone because you fucked up or you're going to get fucked up. Now, in Wes Watson's case, I did a video the other day where I said there's a group, allegedly, okay, that might want to discuss a few things with Wes. There's also in Broward County a majority of brothers in that county jail, meaning there's a lot of black men in that county jail, okay? They seem to be the majority. I'm sure there's some Cubans. I'm sure there's some Puerto Ricanos. I'm sure there might even be a Mexican or two, right? And some Woods. But the majority of ethnicity that you're going to find in Broward County Jail, according to the mugshots that I looked up, are going to be brothers, right? Black men. And I'm here to tell you, man, in a predominantly filled area where there's brothers, man, brothers is going to take advantage of the situation. Now, I'm not saying brothers is going to punk you or they're going to debo you or they're going to bully you. And that's in their nature. I'm saying, man, when you are of a different ethnicity and you go out to that yard and you come out of that prison cell and the majority of the group in that block is brothers, man, they are going to test the waters. They are going to see if they can get over on you. It's just the nature of the beast. And that goes for every group. If you go into a prison or a jail and it's predominantly Sureños, Southsiders, man, guess what? If you're not a Southsider and they're not feeling your vibe, homie, you might be on your way out. Same thing with the Norteños, same thing with the Woods. I mean, every ethnicity sticks together, every group. Now, I know it's a little bit different in Florida, and I'm sure you do have some whites, man, that roll with the blacks, and you do have some Puerto Ricans and Cubans that all get along. And I know there's a little bit of everybody, but you also got to understand Wes Watson's history. His history of being a Wood in California and being basically part of a group that promotes and pushes to some degree white supremacy. You also got to remember that he is accused of assaulting a black man in the gym. Even though the black man approached him first and wanted to throw them things, Wes Watson still assaulted him with several others and using a weapon. Also, you got to remember, if you know that while he was assaulting that black man, he called him all kinds of the N-words with the hard ER. So at the end of the day, I don't think any brothers that know who Wes Watson is, are going to be too happy with the shenanigans. And they're definitely going to question him and heart check him on if he wants to see another black man heads up without the assistance of dumbbell Rob and a belt buckle. It's different for Wes. Now, if he's refusing to come out the cell, that's probably one of the most cowardice moves. And that means everything he said prior on his YouTube channels, Instagram, and all these things are frivolous. Now, those of us that know who Wes Watson is and have watched him over the years change from being just a storyteller to a teller of stories, is a person that is unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? I definitely, after about three videos in on the original Wes Watson, when the pigeons used to shit on his head in the San Diego park, after about 3 episodes in, I realized it was all bullcocky. It was all bullshit. It was bullcockery. He was trying to bullshit the bullshitters. He was trying to make himself take all the W's, the WWs, and never took an L. He's one of those guys that never took an L in life until now. The L being that he's not coming out of a cell. Now, again, this is information coming from somebody who JD DeLay talked to. Could it be that person just putting 2 on the 10? You know, could it be this person just lying or spreading stories? Absolutely. You know, Wes Watson could be just sitting in his cell doing time like every other man coming out, grabbing his tray. You know, I don't know if they have self-feeding there or if they actually push a cart into the unit that he's at and they feed you. Most county jails, you're going to get fed. You have to come out of your cell, pick up your tray, go back to your tray, or there are some self-feedings where they come and bring you your tray. It's different in every county jail. I know in my county jail, my town, it's an older county jail, and depending upon, we have two. If you go to Sandy Mush, they're going to bring a cart with already prepared trays that come from a central kitchen, and they're those thick fucking brown trays, you know, where the fucking indentation is real small and you only get this much food. You get 6 green beans, a hard-boiled egg, 2 pieces of bread, and peanut butter. There's breakfast. What the fuck does green beans have to do with breakfast? It doesn't matter. You're going to eat it, right? And a big old gigantic scoop of butter, which you think are mashed potatoes until you take a big bite. And then everyone wants to fight for the butter because it's nutrition to some degree, right? It's just how it is in jail. Then I've been to county jails like Sacramento County Jail, where they wake you up at fucking 4:30 in the morning and you get 2 sandwiches and a fucking soup, right? A cup of soup. At least you did back in the days. And then you don't eat again until fucking somewhere towards 6 o'clock in the evening and you're starving to death. And then I've been in other county jails where you actually go to a chow hall. So it's just a little bit different everywhere. So Wes Watson eventually was going to have to come meet. You got to feed them muscles. You got to feed that body. You got to feed that big old fucking head of yours. And he has to come out and realize that, you know, you got to pay the piper. You got to face the music. You know, hey, where was all that energy when you were beating up on that little old girl? When you were trying to rip her titties off her chest? When you were smashing her head into a table? When your bodyguards and your, I guess, friends and workers were watching you and holding her down as you were ramming her head over and over again with your fists and ripping her hair out of her head. You know, these are the things that I think about, and I have no remorse. I have no, in my ways of thinking, I have no sympathy for Wes Watson. Now, let me explain to you about people who refuse to come out of their cells. Because once upon a time, in a long land ago, right, I ran into this guy. And we were in the county jail. And when I first got, he had been there prior to me, so I didn't know the get down. So I got a homeboy, and he laces me up, and of course I come out. And at that time, there was only 2 of us Norteños. There was about 5 Southsiders there. They weren't aware that we were Norteños yet. Once they became aware, I got jumped, right? And I'll explain that to you in a minute of exactly how that went down. But anyways, this guy, I guess he had been refusing to come out of his cell for the last 5 or 6 days. And what happened was he wasn't showering. Every cellie that got in there was an altercation. He was a big boy, so he was punking his cellies. They were rolling it up, and still he refused to come out. And we're talking about a big man, sort of like, I guess, Wes Watson, all 6'1" of him. Come on. Right? Motherfucking, where's that about to buy Converse that thick? Craziness, right? About to going gothic with his shoes. He got the Marilyn Manson shoes. He got the fucking Gene Simmons. Anyways, right? That motherfucker got what's that dude that walks around fucking with that chick with all kinds of weird shit on her? I don't know what his name is, but his old lady looks like a witch. Anyways, right? This motherfucker, Wes Watson, right? It's crazy. Anyways, this dude was refusing to come out of his cell prior to me getting there. My homeboy's like, hey, man, something's going to happen with this dude. Sure enough, the cops drag him out. What had happened was he had a bad case, right? He knew he had something bad coming. As soon as they drug him out, he went to go take a shower. They made him take a shower. He thought, hey, everything's cool. He went into the day room area, and they damn near slaughtered that dude in front of everyone. They were waiting on him, right? So Wes Watson could be in a possible situation where he's thinking the same thing. Now, let me explain to you what happened to me in that county jail. That county jail was predominantly housing Southsiders. It was out of state. It just was what it was. Homeboy came to my door, and he was a cowardice homeboy. I'm going to keep it real, right? We ended up getting into it when I got back from the oil because he didn't help me. He comes to my door, and, you know, he's like, hey, bro, I'm from Salas. I'm from this. I'm from that. What's up? Ooh, I see you got a Mongolian. I see, yeah, what's up, homie? You Norteño? Hell yeah, I'm a homie too, right? But I had seen Southerners walking around. I could tell. And I was like, what's up with these vatos? And he was like, nah, they ain't even tripping, bro. Well, of course they weren't tripping because when they hit him up, he said, yo soy mexicano, rifamos, controlamos, con zafa todo. No, yo soy paisa, right? He didn't want to fucking bang. And I didn't know this shit. I thought he was a homie. We were going to get off where we're mad at. Anyways, quietly as it's kept, he was a tier tender. And he was like, hey, bro, I can get you a jale and you come out here with me and chill. All right, cool. Well, he gets me the jale, the job to push brooms and hand out laundry and shit. But this motherfucker's on the first shift. They put me on the second shift, right? First shift wasn't nothing going on. They weren't running no day room. Motherfuckers was housed in their cells. Every once in a while, a dude would get a visit or come out for legal, whatever, right? But he wasn't really having interaction with people like that. When they went to the day room, it was him and a whole bunch of other trustees, a couple brothers, man, a couple white dudes. He had it made. Me, I'm coming out with the Southerners, of course, right? My life. And I come out. Yes, no, Wes, I didn't refuse to come out. Motherfucker came out, right? I came out, and this particular day, we had to hand out laundry. And so as I'm handing out laundry, man, sure enough, I see all the Southsiders coming out. They already know what time it is. I know what time it is. I know it's about to be on and cracking. And one, he's a white dude, kind of swole, right? He's like, hey, homie, where you from, Messi? Straight up white dude, too. Looked like fucking, He looked like Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block, right? But he had hands like Tyson McIntyre, right? So he's like, hey, where you from? And I'm like, Northex. I mean, ding, 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 ding. Next thing you know, I'm getting hit with chairs. And that was that, man. The homie actually had action. His cell door was open. He was cleaning out his cell, right? Turned his back to me. I could watch as I'm getting jumped on, man. I could see him with his back to me. And I'm up for close the cell, like clink. So I went to the oil, came back. They moved a couple of those dudes off the tier. I get back, go up to a couple cells. Like as soon as you come out, you already know what it is because I come out of my cell. See, I never refuse to go on the yard or come out of my cell. I do that. I don't do the Wes Watson, right? And they were like, nah, homie. We weren't even involved in that. Whatever, right? And so I went to the homeboy's door like, hey, what's up, bro? I played the role. He came out. I rushed him. And that was that. I went to the oil, some red on red, but he wasn't really red. He was like pink. And that was that. Anyways, Wes Watson, according to JD DeLay and his information, is refusing to come out of his cell. What do you think? Do you think someone's just lying on his name? Or do you really think that Vato's scared? I don't know. All I know is Wes Watson's facing a lot of time. He deserves all the bullshit that he gets because he did that to a woman. So now karma is a motherfucker, Wes. With that being said, thumb up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. See, I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Vadio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. The Central Valley. If you're in the area, go pull up and get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in Tucson, make sure that you Google Sticks and Stones and have the homeboy come look out for you, man. He's going to cut you a good deal and mention my name. Tell him Gunner sent me, right? That's real. We need to support our small local raza businesses. Wes Watson is in trouble. That motherfucker scared to come out of cell. It reminds me of another dude. That's crazy.